Chapter 1. Understanding the Nature of Anxiety. Anxiety is a word that carries weight, one that echoes deeply in the lives of millions. It's often misunderstood, stigmatized, or minimized. But anxiety is real, it's powerful, and if you've ever felt it grip your chest, steal your breath, or send your thoughts racing like wild horses, you are not alone. Anxiety, at its core, is not your enemy. It is a messenger, a biological response rooted in our evolution to keep us safe. In a dangerous world, it once served as an alarm system, warning us of threats and spurring us to action. The pounding heart, the tightened muscles, the racing mind, all designed to prepare us for survival, fight, flight, or freeze. But in our modern world, the threats are no longer lions in the tall grass. Now they are deadlines, social expectations, relationship pressures, trauma, uncertainty, and a constant digital barrage of information. Our alarm systems haven't evolved as fast as our environment. That's why anxiety can feel misplaced, overwhelming, and hard to explain. Understanding this is crucial. Anxiety isn't a flaw. It's not weakness. It is a sign that your body and mind are reacting to something that feels unsafe, whether that something is real, imagined, or unresolved. When we begin to see anxiety as a signal instead of a shame, we can start to shift our relationship with it. There are different forms of anxiety: general anxiety, social anxiety, panic disorder, phobias, PTSD, OCD, and more. They may wear different faces, but at the root, they share a common thread: fear that feels bigger than us, fear that clings, fear that grows when ignored or judged. To understand anxiety, we must listen to it. We must be willing to ask, what are you trying to tell me? What am I afraid of? What haven't I processed? What part of me still feels unsafe? And perhaps most importantly, we must learn that anxiety doesn't define us. You are not your anxious thoughts. You are not broken. You are a whole person navigating a very complex world, doing your best to understand an inner voice that sometimes screams instead of speaks. The truth is, anxiety doesn't discriminate. It affects the strong and the struggling, the successful and the unseen. And the more we speak openly about it, the more we begin to free ourselves and others from the weight of silence. Let this be your beginning, the beginning of understanding, not avoidance, the beginning of compassion, not criticism, the beginning of reclaiming peace, not pretending it doesn't matter. Because anxiety may visit you, but it doesn't have to control you. And the moment you begin to meet it with curiosity instead of fear is the moment you begin to regain your power. Chapter 2. The Inner Landscape: What Anxiety Feels Like. To truly understand anxiety, we must walk into the inner landscape it creates, not from a place of judgment or cold observation, but from a place of empathy. Because for those who have lived with anxiety, it's more than a word. It's a lived experience that can shape your day, your relationships, and even your sense of self. Anxiety often begins quietly: a thought, a feeling, a shift. It's that tension in your stomach when you wake up and can't explain why. It's the heaviness in your chest as you enter a room, the shaking hands before a phone call, the way your breath shortens at the idea of speaking up. It can be subtle or sudden, lingering or sharp, and sometimes it appears out of nowhere. You may find yourself asking, "Why am I anxious? Nothing bad is happening." And that's one of anxiety's cruel tricks. It doesn't always make sense. It doesn't always need a reason. It can come like a shadow at noon, unexpected and hard to shake. Some days, anxiety feels like a buzzing swarm in your mind, with thoughts darting so fast you can't catch them. Other days, it's like walking through wet cement. slow, dragging, exhausting. And then there are moments when it crescendos into panic, where your body feels like it's under attack. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and you fear something terrible is about to happen, even if everything around you seems fine. But even in these moments, anxiety is trying to protect you. It is your nervous system saying, I don't feel safe. The mistake we often make is trying to fight it, to wrestle it into silence, to tell ourselves to get over it. But what if we listened instead? What if we acknowledged how anxiety feels without shame? What if we allowed ourselves to speak it out loud, to cry if needed, to say, this is hard right now, and that's okay? Because anxiety thrives in silence and secrecy. It feeds on our fear of looking weak. But in truth, there's nothing weak about feeling deeply. There's nothing wrong with your body reacting strongly. You are not defective. You are human. And here's something powerful to remember. Anxiety lies. It tells you that you can't cope when you've coped with so much already. It tells you people will judge you when most are just trying to find peace too. It tells you to avoid life when life is waiting for you with open arms. Learning to recognize the lies of anxiety is a skill, one that takes practice. You won't master it in a day, but every time you choose not to believe the spiral, every time you take a breath and stay in the moment, you are reclaiming your truth. The truth is, you are more than this feeling. You are more than this fear. You are resilient. You are capable. And even when anxiety whispers otherwise, your strength is not diminished. Let this chapter be a mirror. If you see your own experience here, take a deep breath. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're becoming. And this feeling, however strong, will pass. Because the storm always passes. And on the other side, you will still be standing. Chapter 3: Coping with Anxiety. Practical Tools for Everyday Strength. Now that we've explored what anxiety is and how it feels, we begin one of the most empowering parts of the journey, learning to cope with it. Not by pretending it doesn't exist, not by fighting it with force, but by building a toolkit that helps you navigate it with patience, strength, and compassion. Let's begin with the most essential tool: breathing. When anxiety strikes, your body reacts as if danger is near. Your heart races. Your breath becomes shallow. But breath is not just an automatic process. It's a key to calming your nervous system. Deep, slow breaths signal to your body that you are safe. Try this. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Do this a few times. This alone can begin to shift your state from panic to peace. Next is awareness. Anxiety loves to run wild when it's unnoticed. Practice becoming aware of your anxious thoughts without getting swept up in them. This is where mindfulness comes in. You don't have to sit cross-legged for an hour. Just pause. Notice. I'm having a fearful thought. That's all. Label it. Don't judge it. The moment you become the observer of your anxiety instead of its victim, you gain power over it. Movement is another powerful tool. Your body stores stress, and moving, even a walk around the block or stretching in your living room, helps release that tension. You don't need a gym membership to benefit. Dance, shake, stretch, walk, move in any way that feels good. You're reminding your body that it doesn't have to stay trapped in that anxious state. Journaling is also a powerful way to externalize your internal chaos. When thoughts swirl, write them down. Let your pen be a safe space. You don't have to write anything profound. Just let it out. The fears, the worries, the unknowns. Then look at your words. Often, seeing them on paper gives you perspective. It reminds you that thoughts are just that: thoughts, not truths. Self-talk matters too. Anxiety often speaks in what ifs and catastrophes. It says, you'll mess up. You can't handle this. They'll think you're weird. You get to respond. You get to say, that's just anxiety talking. I am safe. I've done hard things before. I can do this too. This is not toxic positivity. This is grounded, gentle truth. You are training your brain to see reality instead of reacting to fear. Don't underestimate the power of routine either. Anxiety thrives in chaos and unpredictability. Even small routines, waking up at the same time, eating regularly, having a wind down ritual at night, create a sense of control and stability. It tells your nervous system, the world isn't out of control. I have anchors. Sleep, nutrition, and hydration are your quiet allies. Exhaustion and dehydration intensify anxiety. So does skipping meals. You are not just a mind, you are a whole body. Take care of it with kindness. And remember this above all, you don't have to do this alone. Therapy is not a last resort. It's a powerful, proactive choice. Talking to a professional is not weakness, it's wisdom. You deserve support. You deserve guidance. You deserve healing. Coping doesn't mean anxiety disappears forever. It means you learn how to live your life even when it's there. It means building strength day by day with tools that suit you. And over time, you'll notice something beautiful. The more you practice these tools, the more you'll remember that you are not helpless. You are capable. You are evolving. And every time you choose to cope instead of collapse, to breathe instead of panic, to reach out instead of hide, you are healing. Let this chapter be your toolbox. Keep it close. Use it often. And know this: every small step you take is a victory. Chapter 4: Supporting Someone with Anxiety. How to Be a Safe Place. When someone you love is struggling with anxiety, you may feel helpless. You want to fix it, to take away their pain, to make it all better. But anxiety isn't something you can solve for someone else. What you can do, and it matters deeply, is be a safe place for them to land. The first step is understanding, not solving. When someone tells you they're anxious, resist the urge to jump into problem-solving mode. Instead, just listen. Hear them out. Create a space where they can speak their fears without being rushed, judged, or dismissed. Sometimes the most healing words you can offer are, "That sounds really hard. I'm here for you." Remember, anxiety can feel embarrassing or irrational to the person experiencing it. They may already be beating themselves up for feeling this way. Don't add pressure by asking them to explain why they're anxious or suggesting they're overreacting. Instead, validate their experience. You don't have to understand why they feel it. Just believe that they do. Avoid cliches like just relax or don't worry about it. These may be well-intentioned, but they often make the anxious person feel misunderstood or dismissed. Instead, try saying things like, "Take your time, I'm not going anywhere," or, "Would you like me to just sit with you while it passes?" Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply be present. Anxiety often makes people feel isolated, as if they're trapped in their own mind. Your calm presence, your steady breath, your grounded energy can be a lighthouse during their storm. You don't have to fix the ocean. Just be the rock they can lean on. Ask, don't assume. Everyone copes with anxiety differently. Some people want to talk. Some want quiet. Some need a distraction. Others want space. Ask them gently, "What helps you when you feel like this? How can I support you right now?" This shows respect for their unique process and reminds them that their needs matter. It's also helpful to educate yourself about anxiety. Learn about the signs, the physiology, the common triggers. This helps you support your loved one more effectively and shows that you care enough to try and understand their world. Encourage them to seek help if they're open to it, but avoid forcing the issue. Therapy, support groups, or even just seeing a doctor can make a difference. but the decision to seek help must be theirs. You can say something like, "You don't have to go through this alone. If you ever want to talk to someone professional, I'll support you 100%. Take care of yourself too. Supporting someone with anxiety can be emotionally taxing. Set boundaries when needed and find your own support system. You can't pour from an empty cup, and being a steady support means also knowing when to rest and recharge. Most importantly, let them know that their anxiety doesn't make them a burden. Say it often. I care about you. Your anxiety doesn't change that. Remind them of their worth, not by dismissing their struggle, but by standing with them in it. Because at the end of the day, love doesn't always look like answers. Sometimes it looks like holding someone's hand in the dark and whispering, "You don't have to go through this alone. I'm right here." And that's everything. Chapter 5. Finding Your Calm. Creating a life that supports your peace. Coping with anxiety isn't just about what you do during anxious moments. It's about how you live between them, the way you structure your life, the habits you form, the boundaries you set, and the compassion you show yourself all contribute to your baseline level of calm. And the more you prioritize peace, the less power anxiety has to disrupt your path. Think of your life as a garden. You can't stop every storm from coming, but you can cultivate a space that helps you weather it. You can pull weeds, plant nourishment, and protect your roots. That's what this chapter is about, shaping a life that soothes your nervous system instead of overloading it. Start with boundaries. If your life feels chronically overwhelmed, you may be saying yes to too much. Anxiety thrives when you're spread too thin or constantly pleasing others. It's okay to say no. It's okay to protect your energy. It's not selfish to decline invitations, cancel plans, or step away from draining relationships. It's self-respect. Boundaries aren't walls to shut people out. They're gates that let in peace. Next, reflect on your environment. Is your space chaotic or calming? Clutter, noise, or overstimulation can worsen anxiety. You don't need a minimalist sanctuary, but small changes help. A tidy corner, a favorite candle, natural light, calming music. Create a space that feels like a breath of fresh air, not a pressure cooker. Incorporate rituals of calm into your day. This could be morning meditation, a quiet cup of tea, 10 minutes of stretching, or an evening walk. You don't need hours. Even 5 minutes of intentional stillness can remind your body that peace is available. Make these moments non-negotiable. Your nervous system will thank you. Don't overlook the power of nature. Time outside reduces anxiety. Trees, sky, water. They calm us in ways we don't fully understand. Try to get outside daily, even if it's just for a moment. Let the wind touch your skin. Watch the clouds drift. Anxiety often tells us the world is dangerous, but nature whispers that it's still beautiful. Creativity is another doorway to peace. Whether you write, paint, cook, play music, garden, or build, when you create, you shift from spiraling thoughts to grounded presence. You don't need to be good at it. This isn't about talent, it's about expression. Give your anxiety somewhere to go other than back inside your chest. Prioritize connection. Loneliness is fuel for anxiety. Stay in touch with people who see you, support you, and don't try to fix you. Make time for real conversations, laughter, vulnerability, shared silence. Surround yourself with those who remind you that you don't have to carry everything alone. And perhaps most powerfully, embrace self-compassion. You will have bad days. You will backslide. You'll lose your temper, cancel plans, cry in your car. This doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. Talk to yourself as you would a friend. It's okay. You're doing your best. You are still worthy. Your journey with anxiety is not a race, it's a rhythm. There will be days of lightness and days of heaviness, but every day you choose peace, even imperfectly. You strengthen your foundation. You don't need to become a different person to feel calm. You just need to return to yourself, the part of you that knows how to breathe, how to rest, how to love, how to trust the process. Let this be your invitation to build a life where calm isn't a rare guest, but a regular presence. One breath, one boundary, one gentle moment at a time. Chapter 5: Finding Your Calm. Creating a life that supports your peace. Coping with anxiety isn't just about what you do during anxious moments. It's about how you live between them, the way you structure your life, the habits you form, the boundaries you set, and the compassion you show yourself all contribute to your baseline level of calm. And the more you prioritize peace, the less power anxiety has to disrupt your path. Think of your life as a garden. You can't stop every storm from coming, but you can cultivate a space that helps you weather it. You can pull weeds, plant nourishment, and protect your roots. That's what this chapter is about, shaping a life that soothes your nervous system instead of overloading it. Start with boundaries. If your life feels chronically overwhelmed, you may be saying yes to too much. Anxiety thrives when you're spread too thin or constantly pleasing others. It's okay to say no. It's okay to protect your energy. It's not selfish to decline invitations, cancel plans, or step away from draining relationships. It's self-respect. Boundaries aren't walls to shut people out. They're gates that let in peace. Next, reflect on your environment. Is your space chaotic or calming? Clutter, noise, or overstimulation can worsen anxiety. You don't need a minimalist sanctuary, but small changes help. A tidy corner, a favorite candle, natural light, calming music. Create a space that feels like a breath of fresh air, not a pressure cooker. Incorporate rituals of calm into your day. This could be morning meditation, a quiet cup of tea, 10 minutes of stretching, or an evening walk. You don't need hours. Even 5 minutes of intentional stillness can remind your body that peace is available. Make these moments non-negotiable. Your nervous system will thank you. Don't overlook the power of nature. Time outside reduces anxiety. Trees, sky, water. They calm us in ways we don't fully understand. Try to get outside daily, even if it's just for a moment. Let the wind touch your skin. Watch the clouds drift. Anxiety often tells us the world is dangerous, but nature whispers that it's still beautiful. Creativity is another doorway to peace. Whether you write, paint, cook, play music, garden, or build, when you create, you shift from spiraling thoughts to grounded presence. You don't need to be good at it. This isn't about talent, it's about expression. Give your anxiety somewhere to go other than back inside your chest. Prioritize connection. Loneliness is fuel for anxiety. Stay in touch with people who see you, support you, and don't try to fix you. Make time for real conversations, laughter, vulnerability, shared silence. Surround yourself with those who remind you that you don't have to carry everything alone. And perhaps most powerfully, embrace self-compassion. You will have bad days. You will backslide. You'll lose your temper, cancel plans, cry in your car. This doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. Talk to yourself as you would a friend. It's okay. You're doing your best. You are still worthy. Your journey with anxiety is not a race. It's a rhythm. There will be days of lightness and days of heaviness. But every day you choose peace, even imperfectly. You strengthen your foundation. You don't need to become a different person to feel calm. You just need to return to yourself, the part of you that knows how to breathe, how to rest, how to love, how to trust the process. Let this be your invitation to build a life where calm isn't a rare guest, but a regular presence. One breath, one boundary, one gentle moment at a time. Chapter 6, From Surviving to Thriving, Reclaiming Joy Beyond Anxiety. For so long, anxiety may have taught you to survive, to get through the day, to just make it to bedtime. And if you've lived with anxiety long enough, survival itself can start to feel like an accomplishment. And it is. But you were made for more than surviving. You were made to thrive. Thriving doesn't mean you never feel anxious again. It means anxiety no longer dictates how small or how big your life gets to be. It means living alongside your fears, not beneath them. It means expanding, even while your mind sometimes tries to contract. So, how do you move from surviving to thriving? You start by honoring how far you've already come. You've faced silent battles no one saw. You've stayed present during moments you wanted to flee. You've reached out when it felt impossible. This is strength. This is growth. Thriving begins with recognizing the resilience already inside you. Then, slowly and deliberately, you begin to reclaim joy. Joy is a radical act in the face of anxiety because anxiety says, "What if it goes wrong?" And joy says, "What if it goes right?" Joy doesn't deny difficulty, it coexists with it. It finds sunlight even in the cracks. Reclaiming joy starts with small choices, doing something just because it lights you up, watching your favorite movie again, singing in the shower, wearing something you love, reconnecting with a hobby you've put away, saying yes to a spontaneous walk, laughing at something silly. Anxiety will tell you that joy is unsafe or that you haven't earned it yet, that you need to be more productive, more perfect, more in control. But thriving requires permission. You must give yourself permission to feel good, not just when things are perfect, but right now in the middle of the mess. You can also thrive by embracing purpose. Anxiety often makes life feel like an endless loop of fear and coping. Purpose breaks that loop. It reminds you that you matter, that you're not just here to endure. Whether it's helping someone else, creating something meaningful, or simply showing up as your authentic self, your life has purpose that anxiety can never erase. Sometimes thriving looks like taking brave steps, signing up for something new, traveling, starting therapy, opening your heart again, speaking your truth. Yes, these things may trigger anxiety, but they also open doors. And each time you walk through one, you tell your brain, "I am not limited by fear." Celebrate your wins, not just the big milestones, but the tiny moments. You made the call. You stayed through the meeting. You got out of bed. You reached out instead of hiding. These are victories. A thriving life is made up of thousands of these quiet triumphs. And don't forget that thriving is contagious. When you show up with authenticity and courage, you inspire others to do the same. Your journey becomes a light. Your healing becomes hope. Even when you don't feel strong, your very presence, choosing growth despite fear, is a powerful gift to the world. Anxiety may still visit you, but thriving means you've built a life where fear doesn't get to lock the doors. It can knock, it can whisper, but you decide who gets to stay. This is your life, not anxieties. And every day you take back space, speak kindly to yourself, and choose joy, you are thriving. Let this chapter be your declaration. I am more than my anxiety. I am capable of joy. I am worthy of peace. I am not just surviving, I am becoming. Chapter 7, When the Storm Returns, Navigating Setbacks with Grace. No journey is without setbacks. And no matter how far you've come in managing your anxiety, there may be days when it surges back, uninvited and overwhelming. The tight chest, the racing thoughts, the old fears returning like ghosts. you thought you'd buried. This chapter is for those moments because progress isn't a straight line. Healing doesn't always feel like a steady climb. Sometimes it looks like circles, loops, backslides. But that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. When the storm returns, the first thing to remember is this: this is not the beginning again. This is a continuation. You are not back at square one. You are simply revisiting a familiar place with new tools, more knowledge, and deeper strength than you had before. You've weathered this before, and you will again. It's easy to fall into self-blame when anxiety resurfaces. I should be past this. Why can't I just be normal? But healing requires compassion, not condemnation. The moment you speak to yourself with gentleness, it's okay that I feel this way today. I'm allowed to have hard moments. You begin to soothe the inner storm. In these moments, go back to the basics. Breathe deeply. Ground yourself in the present. Name what you feel. Take one small action, not to fix everything, but to remind yourself you're not powerless. Whether it's drinking water, stepping outside, texting a friend, or putting your hand on your heart, choose something that reconnects you to the safety of now. Remind yourself that setbacks are part of the process. Every person who has walked the road of anxiety has felt this. It doesn't discredit your growth. In fact, showing up for yourself in spite of a setback is one of the bravest things you can do. You are choosing to continue, and that matters more than perfection ever could. Lean on your support system. You don't have to have it all together to be worthy of love or help. Reach out. Tell someone you're having a rough day. Let them remind you of who you are, because sometimes we forget when the fear gets loud. Let others be your mirror when your own reflection gets blurry. You can also try reframing the setback. Instead of seeing it as failure, view it as feedback. Ask, what is this anxiety showing me? What needs rest, healing, or attention? What boundary did I ignore? Often, our body's anxiety is simply a call to return to balance. Practice patience. Anxiety wants you to fix everything right now, but healing is not rushed. There is no shame in needing more time, more space, more tools. You're still on the path, you're still growing, and even if you feel lost in the woods again, trust that you know the way out because you've walked it before. Above all, don't lose hope. Setbacks may bend you, but they do not break you. They are not the end. They are chapters, temporary, not defining. The storm doesn't erase the sun. It only covers it for a while. Let this chapter remind you, you are allowed to fall. You are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to be a work in progress. And still you are worthy. Still you are growing. Still you are strong. The storm will pass. And when it does, you'll rise again. Not as someone who never stumbled, but as someone who kept rising anyway. Chapter 8. The Power of Vulnerability. Telling the truth about your anxiety. One of the most courageous things you can do on your journey with anxiety is to be honest about it, with yourself and with others. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is power. It is the quiet, brave act of saying, "This is real for me, and I'm not hiding anymore." We live in a world that often praises perfection, where strength is seen as stoicism and composure. But behind every carefully curated image is someone who has struggled, someone who has doubted, someone who has felt overwhelmed. We all carry silent storms. When you speak yours out loud, you break the illusion that suffering must be secret. Telling the truth about your anxiety starts with telling it to yourself. So many people live in denial, downplaying what they feel, pretending it's fine because they fear what acknowledgement might mean. But the truth is, anxiety thrives in silence. When you say, "I'm struggling right now," you shine a light in the dark. You stop running and you begin healing. There is power in naming things. When you name your anxiety, You externalize it. It becomes something you're experiencing, not something you are. Say it out loud. Say, "This is anxiety." Say, "I'm feeling afraid and I don't know why." You don't need perfect words, just real ones. You might be surprised by how freeing it is to let someone in, to tell a friend, a partner, a family member, or a therapist, "I've been carrying this and I need to let it out." You might worry they'll think less of you, but more often than not, they'll think more of you because you had the courage to be real. And in sharing your truth, you give others permission to share theirs. You create a ripple effect of honesty and connection. You might be the first person in someone's life who talks openly about anxiety, and that alone can change everything. But vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing with everyone. It means choosing safe people, those who have earned your trust, who listen without fixing, who support without judgment. It means creating moments of genuine connection where masks can fall and truth can breathe. You may have spent years hiding your anxiety, fearing what others would think. But what if your honesty is exactly what someone else needs to hear? What if your story, just as it is unpolished and ongoing, is the beginning of someone else's healing? There's also vulnerability in asking for help, in saying, "I need support," in going to therapy, in joining a support group, in letting someone hold your hand when the world feels too heavy. There is strength in that surrender. You were never meant to do this alone. And yes, vulnerability takes practice. It won't feel easy at first, but each time you tell the truth, it gets lighter. You begin to reclaim the parts of yourself you once hid. You begin to build a life based on authenticity instead of appearances. So speak, share, write, reach out. Be brave with your truth. Your anxiety is not your fault, and your story is not a burden. It is a bridge. It is a beacon. It is a beautiful, imperfect part of being fully human. Let this chapter remind you, vulnerability isn't the opposite of strength. It is strength. And when you choose to live openly, even with fear in your voice, you become unstoppable. Chapter 9, Rewriting the Story, Reframing Your Identity Beyond Anxiety. Anxiety may have been part of your life for a long time. It may have shaped your routines, your decisions, your relationships, even your self-image, but it is not who you are. It is something you experience, not something that defines you. And now you have a choice. You can begin to rewrite the story. When you live with anxiety for years, it's easy to internalize it. You start saying things like, "I'm just an anxious person," or "I've always been this way." These thoughts become the walls of your identity. But the truth is, you are not static. You are a living, changing, becoming being. You don't have to carry old labels into new chapters. Reframing your identity means separating yourself from your symptoms. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," try saying, "I'm feeling anxiety right now." One describes who you are, the other describes what you're experiencing. That shift, though small, can change everything. It reminds you, this is a state, not a sentence. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not too much. You are not hard to love. You are someone who feels deeply, who navigates complexity, who has stayed standing despite storms. That is not something to hide. It is something to honor. Rewriting the story also means identifying the roles anxiety has forced you into: the overachiever, the people pleaser, the perfectionist, the avoider, and asking if those roles still serve you. You may have adopted them to feel safe, to earn approval, to manage the unknown. But now you have the right to choose new roles, ones built on intention, not fear. Ask yourself, who am I beyond my anxiety? What brings me joy? What am I passionate about? What values do I want to live by? What kind of relationships do I want to nurture? These questions bring you back to your core, the self that exists beyond your symptoms. You might discover that anxiety, though painful, has taught you powerful things. Maybe it made you more empathetic. Maybe it helped you become a better listener, a more compassionate friend, a more present parent, a more resilient human. These are not side effects. These are strengths. Reframing your identity doesn't mean pretending anxiety never existed. It means giving it a new place in the narrative. Instead of the villain, maybe it's the shadow that taught you to find your light. Maybe it's the challenge that revealed your courage. Maybe it's not the whole story, just one of many chapters. You get to decide how this story unfolds. You get to change your inner dialogue. You get to speak to yourself with kindness, to trust your growth, to say, I am not my past. I am not my fear. I am more. It won't happen overnight. Stories don't change in a single page. But each time you challenge an old belief, each time you choose a new thought, each time you take one step away from fear and toward truth, you are rewriting your identity. You are not the anxious one. You are the brave one, the healing one, the real one. You are the one who kept going. Let this chapter be your turning point. You are not the same person who started this journey, and your story, your beautiful, messy, unfinished story, is still being written. Chapter 10, A New Beginning, Living Lightly, Loving Deeply, and Moving Forward with Hope. You've made it to the end of this journey, or rather, the end of this chapter, because anxiety may be part of your story, but it is no longer writing it for you. And now you stand at a threshold, not of perfection, but of possibility. A new beginning. Living with anxiety teaches you to be cautious, to brace for impact, to always look for what might go wrong. But healing teaches you something else, that you are safe now, that joy is not a trap, that rest is not laziness, that lightness is not something to fear. It's something you were meant to feel. This is your invitation to live more lightly, to stop carrying burdens that don't belong to you, to release the shame you've absorbed, to stop apologizing for your emotions, your needs, your voice. Lightness is not about ignoring life's difficulties. It's about choosing not to let fear be your compass anymore. You're allowed to laugh loudly, to take up space, to dream again. You're allowed to believe that your future holds beauty, connection, and peace, even if your past has been filled with struggle. You've also learned how to love more deeply, because those who walk through darkness come out with a deeper compassion. You understand what it means to feel invisible, to struggle silently, to ache in places no one sees. That makes you a healer, a bridge, a beacon for others who are hurting. Your story, your truth, your courage, they matter. You can be the person who says, "Me too," the one who listens without judging, the one who shows others that it's okay to feel and still live a full life. You are not just healing yourself, you are lighting a path for others. And now, with everything you've learned, you get to move forward with hope. Hope isn't a naive wish. It's a brave decision to believe in something better, even without guarantees. It's choosing to get out of bed again, to try again, to trust again. It's knowing that you are capable of creating a life that feels like home. Your anxiety may not vanish forever. It may still visit. But now you are not afraid of it. You have tools. You have support. You have wisdom. And more than anything, you have yourself. Strong, resilient, soft, real. So take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your heart beating in your chest. You made it here. Through the fears, through the spirals, through the moments when you thought you couldn't. You made it, and your story isn't over. It's just beginning. You get to write the next page. You get to choose peace. You get to ask for help. You get to laugh, to rest, to hope, to start again. You get to live, not just survive, but truly, beautifully, courageously live. Let this chapter and this speech be your reminder. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not defined by fear. You are becoming. Keep going.